The woman in this picture? Don't you think, I mean...
That she sort of looks like you? Yeah, that's really kind of strange.
Welcome to Coincidence City, population Gen. Would sure be a shame if they based a huge part of the plot on that coincidence.
Phase 10, The Wicker Bride. I reached Arkham at nightfall. As my horse, Providence, crested the west ridge, I witnessed a chilling scene, and the purpose of this fool's errand became clear. Towering over the mansion stood a sacrificial Wicker man, and inside, a jury of the great and good of Arkham Town had already pronounced judgment. Their intent was plain. Leonora was to be burned as a witch. I rode with haste.
Jen! Sacrifice! It's time. They're gonna kill her!
That certainly looks that way. You're almost out of time, Mickey, so bring it up.
And for the first time ever, we're going to directly disobey the mask and saunter over this way to get our first piece of Jen's picture. Now we can return to the path and get on with that whole looming time limit business.
You followed us through.
As I rode, a cacophony of jeers and cries and such screaming reached my ears, and I grimly observed that the good Christian folk of Arkham Town have not entirely abandoned their pagan roots. How quickly man will revert to superstition in dealing with matters he does not understand.
And continued periodic interruptions from good old Dr. West, as well as some glitch lines by the mask. Here comes another one now.
Get you some!
Yeah, it's weirdly muted. At least it's properly subtitled this time, though. So that was a series of optional fights in the area back there. At this moment, I kind of wish I had used them to grind some necro, because not having any when you lose your arm wastes a lot of time. Having both arms also allows us to make great use of the new meat shot ability we got. That's going to make very short work of these zombies. It's also a pretty safe way to kill the scrawny guys. Another piece of Jen's picture, indicating just how short this level's going to be. And as you can see, another glitch line from the mask. He sort of leaves us hanging in the middle of that sentence. I swear these glitches will clear up very shortly. In the meantime, though, we're just going to have to hack and slash through a couple more waves of these guys. Sword is pretty much essential here to meet the time limit. I believe I didn't find it my first time through here, and I most certainly timed out. And there we go. One more glitch line from the mask. And whoa, Nelly, we actually have control over Rick throughout this portal. We can dodge the debris, and our time will slowly tick up. There we go. I don't even know what the hell the mask said there, but it's the final glitch line in this level. And the beast approaches. Fortunately, he is easily escaped once we've dispatched him here. We will not be adding to his intestinal distress today. We simply don't have the time for it.
I prayed for help to any god that would listen. But it was not our Lord that answered. I could not say what fate befell that mob. Only that their shouting and jeering turned to screams, and then a strange, inhuman moaning that chilled my blood.
there's the origin story for these chitinous monstrosities that have surrounded us. We've seen before that they pose a serious threat. Fortunately, at this point, we've got a lot of abilities that are going to help us deal with these types of enemies pretty efficiently. Meat Shot being one of them.
Nice one!
He'll pretty much kill any enemy that we throw now, including these guys, as well as seriously injuring any enemy that gets hit in the way. Yet another piece of Jen's picture. They're easy to miss due to the time limit, but if you get them fast.
The wall's red.
That was with the tackle move that we bought last time and didn't do any examples of. It's a fast way to kill single enemies when you're not in any danger of being interrupted. More of these guys, gonna completely ignore them. And yet another ambush, no surprise there. Trying to kill them, but they've got a synchronized attack pattern for some reason. And no longer. Thanks again, Meat Shot. And already the final piece of Jen's picture. There was a cleaver also hidden in those boxes, but it fell through the floor, so I won't be using it.
In that garden, last night, I did bear witness to a succession of events I can scarcely believe. Though they did happen.
That was a very strange time for Wes to interrupt with that. Right in the middle of this ridiculously difficult fight. 3 demon abhors. Absolutely not to be trifled with.
Fuck that thing!
Just spam all your splatter moves, or else this'll happen.
Game over, Rick. Game over.
Indeed. Rather than let this death go completely to waste, let's see what happens when the timeout actually does happen.
Life's a bitch, and I hate bitches.
God, what an absolutely horrible thing to say while the person we think is our girlfriend is burning alive. It's a good thing that's not canon. So here's that cleaver. And before we move on to those abhors, let's get some upgrades. I don't want to risk that happening again. More cushion for the pushing and 211 are both upgrades to the fast attack combo, so we can pretty much do that infinitely now. And I wanted to buy another upgrade to the heavy attack, but I seem to have ran out of blood, so instead I'm getting the Carousel of Doom, which is an upgrade to the crowd surf. Haven't used that in a long time, so the next time we see weak sort of enemies, we will definitely be trying that out.
Last night, I did bear
The cleaver already gives us a pretty strong advantage,
I can
which we very much need. We also have considerably more necro going in this time.
They did happen.
They're still bashing me around all over the place. Just don't even bother trying to use normal attacks when there's 3 mini-boss enemies in sight. Heavy attacks are pretty effective if you can separate one out from the herd. That's difficult. Should also be going for splatter kills when you can. But I got him lined up, and Strike. Very nice. Rewarded with a nice shower of gore. We've also saved a lot of time, and that gives us a chance to check things out, like that nice angel statue, and this gate to nowhere. Okay, there's not much to check out. Oh, we have another controllable wormhole. Really not much going on here. We're supposed to dodge the debris, but it actually has no effect if we fail to do so.
Before the Wicker Man stood a masked brute, drawn straight from the pages of some lurid penny dreadful.
And we finally made it to the set piece of this level. We're no longer traversing identical corridors, haphazardly attached with random portals. So that's kind of nice. Here's our Carousel of Doom. Instant death on even these most powerful of enemies. Also wreaks havoc if we can actually hit other enemies while we're doing it. And with these guys, if you tackle them, pound their heads off, you can actually use that head as a weapon afterwards. Weaker enemies just splatters the head, makes it useless.
The wall's red.
In her own voice, Leonora cried out to me.
Darling, help me!
Jenny, hold on!
Hold on for a little while. We gotta check out the scenery, like the moon. And the other moon. I don't know. But the waves look nice. And there's the manor, way off in the distance. But having seen all there is to see, time to figure out what we're supposed to do here. If you guess that faintly glowing handle needs to be jumped towards, you are much better at figuring out the designer's plans than I am. I timed out here as well.
No! Jen!
Jen. Rick. She's...
So I guess the time limit was completely goddamn pointless if she was gonna burn anyway. And this is clearly a cut boss fight. All we have here is a QTE. I'm gonna fail it on purpose, just to show it off. You get gutted. About what you would expect. So yeah, this is a real shame. It would be unimpressive even if we weren't cutting down demonic clones of Jenny just 2 levels ago, like they were nothing.
Fuck me!
That ain't Jen.
I use my talents only to serve mankind. My reward is ruination. So be it. All that remains of my wife are memories and her wedding ring. In time, both will tarnish. Science has failed me. Humanity is a luxury I can no longer afford. I shall put my faith in older gods. I will tear down the gates of heaven to find you, Leonora, and I shall reach them on a stairway built from the stacked corpses of the good people of Arkham. And the body of her masked executioner shall form the final step.
If you don't mind me editorializing a little bit here, that level was fucking stupid. I don't really understand why we ended up there in the first place, much less why we had to attempt to save and ultimately kill Leonora, set up some kind of grudge that Dr. West has against us, which only gets mentioned once in a much earlier level, and doesn't really have any impact then. And the level itself, while the time limit gimmick is actually kind of tense, I don't mind that at all. The level is completely uninspired, half-finished, and the boss is such an anticlimax, it's pathetic. Really, the only saving grace in this level is Richard Doyle's excellent performance as Dr. West. Doesn't amount to too much considering what he was actually saying, but he sold it. The next level is going to be a considerable improvement, I promise, and not just because it'd have to be by comparison. So I hope to see you then.